That big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another couch conversation with myself, Tom, and my buddy Keegan. And we're going to be discussing today games you may have missed. So we've both had the PS4 for most of its lifespan, and we've recently picked up an Xbox and things like that. So we have kind of games that we've been playing throughout the time period of the console that perhaps you might not have seen if you recently picked one up. There's been these kind of price drops that are in the works, and you have these new iterations of the consoles coming out. So we thought it'd be fun to do kind of a look back video at things that we really enjoyed playing, that we feel like if you see it on a flash sale, you should pick it up, or if you see it for cheap in your local GameStop or whatever, you should pick it up. So that being said, what is your kind of, what do you think you should throw out there into the ether as a game that you think people might have missed?
Destiny Taken King.
Destiny? All right.
Destiny, I don't think people missed that game, but I think people missed it when it got good. So I was one of those people that bought Destiny. I bought a PS4 for Destiny, and I bought it for The Division. Well, Division got delayed, so I had to wait a couple years for that. Destiny was out, but it sucked, and then Madden was the other thing I picked up it when I first got it. So,
right.
So basically my PS4 came a Madden machine because I hated Destiny when it first came out. The story sucked, and honestly, the only reason I picked up the game was because a couple people on the stream team now, is before we were even the stream team. It's actually I think it's where I met David, it might have been where I met David, was playing Destiny, I can't remember. But they told me to pick it up, and it was on a sale, kind of like you're saying, a flash sale. It's like, okay, you can get the Taken King now for $15. Let's try it, let's see. And I did, and it's a lot better. I won't say I still have a bad taste from that game in my mouth, just because I shouldn't have to pay another thing to get a good game.
Yeah.
But they have this collection coming out that has all the DLC minus the Rise of Iron, which is the newest one coming out later this year, for $60. And if you have not picked up that game yet, I recommend doing that now. Well, when that comes out, because it'll be worth it, in my opinion, because it'll have all the DLC. It'll actually have the full game.
It'll look closer to what Destiny was supposed to be to begin with.
So that would be my pick. My first pick would be Destiny, because, again, not that people missed it because it had so much hype, but so many people got disappointed by what the game launched as.
Did they just kind of write it off?
Yes.
Yeah.
So go back and play that. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna throw one out into the ether. Dying Light. Dying Light is a game that we played for a very, very small amount of time on the channel. But we had a blast with it, and recently they released a pretty large DLC for it that added more than just a new area, also
cars,
like vehicles, and just really opened that game up even more than it already was. And I think that it's one of those games that has this kind of, you had to have been there thing. Like, nowadays it doesn't really get mentioned a whole lot, but I think for what it was doing, both technically and in terms of gameplay, it was super interesting, and it's still, to me, one of the more intriguing games that's come out for this console.
It's also one of those games that zombie games now are getting bad, because there were so many of them for the longest time, and Dead Rising's coming out. Yeah. But I feel like that was still when zombie games were not 100% like completely a void, and now it's kind of like not completely a void now, but it's okay. I've seen that.
It's kind of if you took Dead Island from the previous generation and just kind of, polish it up a little bit, give it some amazing graphics, gave it better physics, gave it some more...
The day-night cycle they have is really cool.
Yeah, get some more going on. Day-night cycle where like the bigger beasties come out at night, that sort of thing. If you give it, chance, it's actually one of the greatest zombie games I think I've ever played. And
crafting in it is really cool. Like, I love the crafting side of things. Yeah. You take a thing, and now you got a flaming thing.
Very simple to do. And there's a lot of loot going on in that game. So I really like that. And I think that, especially now when you can pick it up definitely for cheap on any sales that PlayStation are throwing out, you can get the following edition for something like, last time I picked it up, because I bought it twice, was like $25 for the following edition, which has everything, including the DLC, which I thought was a really good deal. So Dying Light would be one I would throw out to you to try if you haven't already. If you want to know what that looks like, check our old videos. You can find some on there. What else?
Next one I want to talk about is one that I when I played it, I texted you and was like, holy crap, this is This is changing how I think about video games, and it's Last of Us Remastered. I never played Last of Us.
The game that Keegan grew up to.
Yeah. I never played Last of Us, the original, because I didn't have a PS3. The PS4 was my first PlayStation, because as I've said before on the channel, PlayStation was the devil for the longest time in my household, because I was a Nintendo fan. But Last of Us Remastered, kind of just the way, and I know it's got a lot of cheers, but some people may have just missed it, because there's always games coming out.
It was really early in the life of the machine. So, especially, like, for people that had just bought The Last of Us like a couple months earlier for PS3, and then they released the PS4, released the remastered edition. It may have felt like a bit of a slap on the tits, you know. But I think it was 100% worth it if you're going to play a remastered version of anything.
The way that game starts, without spoiling anything, you start in a house as this little girl storming outside. Things are happening, noises are happening. You don't know what's going on, and it was fucking terrifying. Like, I was legit scared playing that, and then you go into the actual game, and the story of that game is so good, and
second to none.
Visually, it's so stunning, and I'm sure, I mean, again, I didn't see it on last gen, but the graphics on the current generation is just what was next gen at the time.
And more importantly, there's been, for a long time now, rumors of a sequel. So, you know, now would be a good time to pick it up, play the original, get used to the characters. If you just picked up Uncharted 4, and that was your first Uncharted game, or the Uncharted trilogy, you're talking about the same developers, but just with a lot more... I don't want to say heart, because Uncharted does have a lot of heart, but a lot more gritty.
It did hit you in the feels, though.
It does, yeah. So maybe a bit more emotional than Uncharted was.
But I highly recommend. I mean, that's not my type of game, but I loved it.
Awesome.
What's your next one?
I'll throw another one out there. And this is one that we did play for the channel, and I think it was a surprise to both you and Jordan at the time, which was Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishment. That game... it
was the Maid.
I mean, that was under the radar when it came out.
Yeah.
Like, even when it released, like, no one really knew what it was. Like, you would see it on the shelf in GameStop and be like, what the fuck is that? Like, you know, fanfare at all.
What I think about when I heard you say Sherlock Holmes, I think of like really bad licensed games.
Right.
That's what I think of, which is sad because it is a licensed game, but it's good. Which is
weird. It
was
not the case with Sherlock Holmes. So if you are into because I mean Sherlock's had a resurgence. Let's be honest. You have Elementary, which is the American version of Sherlock, with Johnny Lee Miller, and you also have Sherlock, which is the Benedict Cumberbatch thing. I'm just kidding. Cumberbatch doing it, and it's kind of had this kind of weird resurgence in TV land, and also you have the movies with
TV Land,
Robert Downey,
the station,
TV, just TV Land, the land of TV.
It feels like a South Park bit,
right?
So, go to TV Land, everybody.
So why not have a game based on it, and the fact that they're kind of playing to the traits of Sherlock in terms of like how you have to look people up and down and find faults with them that allow you to open up different questioning routes. It's a very unique style of game.
It was funny because when we did that was a bite, right? Yeah, that was a bite. When we did that bite, it was I didn't go in with any expectations really. Like I said, it's a stupid license game. Whatever. It's one of these weird games Tom loves. Like I go into a lot of games like that, and it's like, okay, whatever, I'll play it because it looks kind of interesting, but I wanted no expectations. By the end of it, I was like, let's keep going, let's finish. I want to know what happens.
I still haven't finished that game actually, which is it's a testament because I still want to. I still not deleted it off my hard drive. I just got carried away with other games,
which is crazy for you considering how much.
I usually get them off there as fast as I can. But Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishment, or Crime and Punishment. It will definitely show up on some kind of a sale at some point if you want to hold out for it. Otherwise, I can't imagine it would be very expensive to buy new from GameStop or pre-owned perhaps. So that's one to look out for. And then did you have more?
I had one more. The one I think, and it's honestly probably my game of the generation so far, until Inside comes to PS4.
Which it did today, by the way.
Oh, it did?
Well, today when we're recording.
It's officially out?
Yeah, sure, earlier. Yeah.
Well, there we go. So I guess it's not my game of the console anymore. Ratchet and Clank. The resurgence of the 3D platformer Ratchet and Clank. As you know, Nintendo guy, Banjo-Kazooie. Big fan of those 3D platformers,
really
Mario 64. And I think it does that. As somebody who's a big fan of the genre, did it justice of they didn't try to make it something it's not. And it was really cool with just how pretty it looked. Like I felt like I was watching the title of our stream. I think was like if Pixar made a movie or made a game, and that's what it looked like. And there was tight controls, and it was a $40 game. And you're like, cool. I think if it was $60, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. But it was $40, and I was like, let's get this. And I love that game to death. It did that cartoon mascot thing that has not been around for a while, and it was my first Ratchet and Clank game, and I played the crap. I still like kind of like you. I need to finish it, but I'm pretty close to the end from what I remember, and it was a lot of fun. I remember Jordan being surprised by it too.
Yeah.
Like he was like, "Oh, whatever."
I think I was as well. I remember thinking, I played the old Ratchet, so I kind of had a half an idea of what to expect, but it was beautiful. Like, it was really was one of the best looking games that I've seen in a while. And gameplay wise, standard Ratchet, if not more impressive, with some of the
dancing disco ball thing. That was awesome.
I'm with you on that. I think if you didn't pick up Ratchet and Clank and you see it for sale, even at the price that it is full price, it's definitely worth checking out.
Oh yeah, and it's a long game. I mean, like I said, I'm still playing it.
Right.
I put it down for a little bit, but what about you? You got
I'll
one
try
more?
and summarize up really quickly because I know we're close to the end of our recording time here. But The Wolf Among Us. If you haven't played that, it's always on flash sale. Telltale, the developers always have their own little developer sales that show up on PlayStation. The Wolf Among Us is a fantastic little Telltale game based off the comic book Fables, which is kind of like a weird kind of distorted, gritty version of fairy tale land. With your standard fairy tale characters. You play the big bad wolf as a detective trying to solve a murder, and we're talking like headless people, and it's fucked up. So if you dug the Telltale Walking Dead series, but you just didn't pick up Wolf Among Us because you don't know anything about Fables, or
maybe they didn't know about because Telltale's gotten more and more publicity as it's gone on, and obviously Batman's coming out soon. So I think because I didn't know about Telltale till recently, and I was like, I feel like I'd like those games.
Oh yeah, they're great.
They're basically, I guess,
little
interactive stories, which I love about it. I love that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. So yeah, you should definitely pick that up. If you see it, it's always cheap. And of course, if you dig that, then they have Game of Thrones, Batman, all the rest as well. Thanks for watching that video, guys. And remember that if you liked it, there are more of them. We do this a lot, and we'll have them up for you at irregular scheduled intervals.
Check right here. I'm sure it's going to be floating.
It's somewhere. And if you dig us, we would love for you to subscribe to our channel. And we also have some other cool things that we do: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check those out too. And we really would appreciate it.